Akandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. By way of Mother Divine's grace and Guru's blessings, we are gathered tonight, as well as with many of our Sangha members, our sadhakas from around the world. I'm sorry that it is so late in Asia, but you that are in the Europe or the Americas, please join in, and again, thank you for your attendance. Here at Sadhaka Grama, we're in Guru's home. And in that way, Guru's presence is near and dear to all of us. To all of us by way of our daily routine, as an ashram, as a home of divinity, we awaken with that purpose of life. We do our practices together as family, emphasizing like Kalyana Mitras that we are one, supporting each other, helping each other. As we eat our meals, the abundance of that nurturing earth that has given our food prepared by those that are in the right-mindedness as they prepare the food, eating in silence or simply with that understanding that as family we share. Continuing throughout the day with our studies, with our karmic work, our duties, and as guests, learning, practicing, developing a base of understanding that then you too take back to your homes, to your workplaces, with a revelation of living life purposefully. Yet, Swami Veda would say that the whole world is an ashram, in the sense of purposeful living. So we are gathered for a purpose tonight, a purpose that is actually a moment of transition. For as we gathered yesterday at our Punahuti for our Sangha mantra, let us once again bring that beautiful Somya essence back to our minds that has been imbued with thousands and thousands of japa over this 3-year period. Om Somya Somya Tarashesha Somne Vyastvate Sundari Para Paranam Parama Tvameva Parameshwari Tare Uttare Ture Swaha. And in that sentiment of Swaha, a surrender, a giving of our entire ego and personality by way of a purification, so that that purification of mind reveals the essence of our nature, the beauty of our being. 3 years, a groove in our minds for such a prayer, such a practice that has given both the feeling of Mother in our lives and the purpose of living for her love. And in that way, sharing that same love of Mother Divine with others. There was a question asked of me, and it gave me pause to think about. Oh, you did a peace mantra, but there's no peace in the world. It's even more disruptive. 3 years, what has the world become? This problem, that problem, the next day another problem, more conflict, more adversity. What is the purpose of such mantras? To that I simply reflect back on our beloved Swami Veda, who wanted to make an emphasis of what is right with the world. Yes, we can look at what is negative, what is a problem, what is the conflict. But if we look at what is beautiful, what is harmonious, what is beneficial, what is the quotient of happiness, that is also something to measure. We find that, yes, there is much beauty, much wisdom in the world, and in that way much love. So let us take a grander view of mantras. Mantras are those vibratory qualities that are not just simply words spoken. That's called Vaikari. It is the most gross aspect of the entire revelation of speech. Yes, before the word is spoken, the thought is there, madhyama. So in that way, we understand that what we speak, we've already thought about. And with that thought, we've mixed in our own feelings, our own attitudes, opinions in that way. So it's drawn up from our unconscious. But as it makes its way from para, the essence, the infinite truth, as it draws up through that revelation as pure light, it then mixes with the individuated mind fields of each of us, of all humanity, of the entire humanity collectiveness of consciousness that has been from the beginning. So yes, speech has its purpose, and in that way we bring it back to the essence of mantra, because only there do we understand mantra as word, and word as revelation, and revelation as truth, and beauty, and love. So we are once again here to bring about the birth of our Sangha mantra. And it has been a continuation for over 2 decades now, that every 3 years Swami Veda would introduce a mantra for our collective family. Here at Sadhaka Grama, every morning we do the Havan with that Sangha mantra. And throughout the globe, whether you're sitting in your home or together with your members of your center, the Sangha mantra is present. So once again, we're bringing that birth of a new mantra by way of that same process of initiation, where mind interacts with mind, mind speaks to mind, heart to heart, soul to soul. In that meditative state, that which is revealed has become the new mantra for us. So from our Samya mantra, we will now practice. We will now ask for the opportunity to have Ganesha's presence. In this way, that protection, that stillness of stability, that inner strength, that actual presence in Vakratundaya, the trunk as that Mother Kundalini that is within us all. Thus, that Vakratundaya is that spine by which our esteem is maintained and moral character, as well as the way in which we are lifting our energy patterns into right behaviors, right speech, and right thoughts. As you know, Ganesha has many, many, many characteristics. It is so beautiful in that transformative way of that deity, having such things as sweets like a ladu, a hook or a goad to make sure you're going in the right direction, an actual noose, because we want to hold together that which is beneficial. A sword, a mace, a trident, a shield, a flower, sometimes a lotus, sometimes a radish, a battle axe, a water pot, a discus, and on you'll see these attributes of characteristics given to the powers of Ganesha, who is the remover of the obstacles in our life, in our sadhana, for the physical and emotional stability that we all aspire for. Removing the obstacles, the resistances, the conflicts of our spiritual life, of our relationships. Ganesha represents firm determination.
Ganesha is the deity of the Mooladhara chakra. Moola means root. Adhara means base, substratum. Nahin, theek hai. If you see the pictures of various chakras in the Kundalini books, you will see a little Ganesha drawn in the Mooladhara, because bottom heavy. There is a word in yoga called asana siddhi. Asana siddhi means accomplishing an asana, meaning you can stay in an asana, let us say your meditation asana, unmoving for as long as you wish without feeling disturbance and without feeling discomfort. As I've been telling you, I can sit for 5 hours in the same position, lecture, and it is through the grace of Ganesha. There was some particular sadhana my master gave me at one time, fire offerings to particular Ganesha Gayatri, and after that, steady. That is one part. The other part, it is not easily visible. It's an anthropomorphic representation of Om. And the trunk curls this way, if it curls that way, and that laddu, the round sweet, that is the bindu, the point of concentration. The representation of Om in the Tamil script, you know, there are so many scripts in India. In Tamil script, the representation of Om is much closer even to the figure of Ganesha. It's always a multi-layer thing. Nothing is unilateral. So it can be a yantra, it can be a mantra, it can be in iconographic form, anthropomorphic form, zoomorphic form, and they are all superimposed one upon the other, just like your brain has a limbic system and a cortical system and has the figures and the mantra and the thought all in unitary address different parts of your being, and should not be taken just as one as it is seen. But for me it is just sits there. You know the story of Mahabharata? After the war and so on, sage Vyasa, the father of Shukdeva, he wanted to dictate his book. So he put an ad in the Galactic Times. Needed a scribe to take dictation of an unstopped epic. Ganesha is also in India god of script. So Ganesha applied, who else but Ganesha? If you go to Badrinath temple up in the mountains at the border with China, which is now closed for the winter, Mana village, there's a cave of Vyasa and cave of Ganesha. Ganesha said, okay, I'd like to take the job. Say, on one condition. Say, what? Well, you know, I'm Ganesha, I am the master of asana. Once I sit down, I sit down. So, if you're dictating, if you stop, I quit. If you make a stop anywhere, I quit. You say, okay, agreed? You say, Vyasa says, okay, I have one condition too. Whatever I'm dictating, you must understand before writing it down. You say, all right, set, ready. So every now and then, Vyasa's composition, I'm composing instantly 100,000 verses without stopping. You know, it's even for a Vyasa, it's a tall order, you know. So every now and then in his dictating, he throws, when he feels that he might stumble and he might have to stop, he's not sure. So he creates a verse which is very difficult to understand. These are known as Kuta shlokas, cryptic shlokas, cryptic verses. So he throws in one or two cryptic verses. So wait, I have to understand it. While Ganesha is busy understanding, he's busy composing in his mind. tricky fellow. This is 42 feet 3 inches. And in each limb, now I don't know if you know the importance of the river Narmada, which is as holy in India, in South India, as Ganga is in these parts. And normally we bring these Shivlingas from Narmada river. And each part, total of 725 Shivlingas have been embedded from the river Narmada.
Don't you miss that voice? That presence? So honeyed-like speech, such humor. You would just listen for hours. And he enjoyed sharing all the stories. I'll let Adhikari tell the stories tomorrow or Monday maybe, okay. We were at Shukdal and there was the big Ganesha, as he was saying. So I don't think anyone else was here, maybe a few of you were there, but it was nice to hear such stories. Both Adhikari and Pierre will take the session on Monday evening to help with the pronunciation, give a background to the mantra science by way of the terminology of the word. With Adhikari, the fun stuff, the stories, the way in which you heard Swami Veda laugh, because he just so much enjoyed the stories that taught something, but at the same time people enjoyed. So Adhikari, that's your job. And tomorrow, the boring stuff. I'll lead a meditation. Let us once again understand the purpose of the new mantra, the Ganesha Gayatri mantra. That is termed SANKALPA. You take a resolve with that intention, and these are the intentions that I will provide for the Sangha, but each of you will have your own personal intention then that you'll establish for your practice. A pillar like stability and stillness in mind and emotion. Perseverance in asana. Daily meditation, same time, same place. Removal of obstacles in sadhana and in daily life and in relationships. Purification of buddhi, resolved on enlightenment. Harmony with Mother Earth, with a resolute commitment to ahimsa, nonviolence. Mother Earth has suffered enough, and we can play our part, even more so. Let us understand that. Protection and security through freedom from all fears. Everyone is seeking security from the unknown, from the conflicts, from the animosities, and the greed and the hatred. That protection, that security is necessary for us to feel grounded and stable and able to move into our higher realms of life with relationships and our service to humanity. So let us begin with this firmness of security, the establishment of the Muladhara Chakra, which we will also begin to cover a bit more in its symbolisms as well as its energy pattern to our psychophysiological personality as well as our spiritual aspects of our sadhana. So this is a Sankalpa that we'll establish then with the Havan on the 1st of March, Tuesday. Let us go back to the mantra itself, and then I'll explain the core essence of the mantra. Now we say Ganesha Gayatri because Gayatri is of that spiritual song. It is having the 3 segments of 8 syllables to have 24 syllables. And there are many Gayatri. Of course, we have our famous one, Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Argo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yona Prajodayat. Yet with this Ganesh Gayatri, we have a specific purpose and a specific emphasis. So here again, let us pronounce Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prajodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prajodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prajodayat. Now, in the secrecy of your own hearts, in the clarity of your own mind, you will accept the blessing of this prayer and set the determination of its presence in your life. Again, one of the ways is through japa. Which mala to use for the Ganesha Gayatri? You can use Rudraksha. Whether you do the 108 beads, seeds as recitations, or how many malas you will decide to do. If you do about 4 per day, 4 malas of Ganesha Gayatri, then you would complete the Purushcharana in a year's time. This undertaking will be for the year until Shivaratri of next year. Or whether you're simply able to do the 1 mala. But search in your hearts for that ability to be ambitious and for that inner strength. And then, with the sankalpa of the purpose, with that intention, set the commitment accordingly, set the time and place, and begin. Now, it is important that you begin with a certain attitude. Many times we rush to our meditation seat. Oh, it's my time, I need to sit. Oh, I have to go somewhere, but I got to at least sit for 5 minutes. Where's your mind? So, before beginning, there's a small prayer that we'll have also, either just the pure intention of it, or you can read it in its both Sanskrit, or you can put it in your other mother tongue. The core essence of this prayer is to ask for spiritual strength, to confess oneself, to confess to oneself one's own transgressions, and more so to ask humbly forgiveness of those who you have criticized in your mind's thoughts, or in your speech, or in the harsh tones in the words that you have spoken, whether in anger or in arrogance. So again, to confess to oneself one's own transgressions, and to ask humble forgiveness of those we have criticized in our mind's thoughts, in our speech, or what has been spoken in anger or arrogance. You're saying, well, does that mean I have to go find that person and say that to them? No. In your mind and in your heart, have that purity of intention, that humbleness to ask for forgiveness, for that reflective attitude of, yes, I did say it in a harsh way. I did think that thought. I did show my anger or my pride and arrogance. So as you then engage in your Ganesha Gayatri, you will receive the expiation. Swaha. Let us apply this principle as Swami Veda has previously guided us. Apply it to all our relationships, within our family, within our meditation groups, in our centers, in our organization. Let us explore the transformative effect that this will have on our relationships through the japa that we engage in, through the mantra, through our self-observation and reflection, and through our spiritual diaries that we may keep, that also give us that mirror to look at ourselves. This prayer was composed by Swami Veda for those who aspire to purification through the intention of the Gayatri prayer. And it can be repeated each day before one begins their japa. Pierre will go over the pronunciation of it. O Mother Gayatri, O Gurudev, Shri Gurudeva, grant me pure buddhi. May my mind be immaculate, quiet, peaceful, clear, pleasant. May all my emotions be purified. Grant me the spiritual strength to ask for forgiveness with a sentiment of amity, friendship, kindness. Om, that alone is real. May all this endeavor be accepted as my surrender and offerings to Brahman. Om Tat Sat Brahmarpanamastu. Om alone is real. May all this endeavor be accepted as my surrender and offering to Brahman. So this is the simple prayer of intention that can be either just quickly thought of or also recited by way of the paper that you'll have at your meditation seat. Then engage in the steps of your meditation, centering, breathing, establishing Sushumna, inviting the sentiment of the divine to come forward as mantra. Now you may have other mantras that you say, well, what about the Purushcharana I'm already doing? What do I do? Here again, a decision to be made. You can reduce slightly, but keep it as the continuity of your present discipline, your Purushcharana that you're in the midst of. Some of you are in 5 years or maybe longer of these larger Purushcharnas, Mahapurushcharnas. So just continue. You'll say, well, what about the other mantras? What about the Somya mantra? Yes, have 3 times, 7 times, 11 times. Maybe just at least check in on that continuity of that mantra which you've already practiced. You have your own personal guru mantra, yes, honor that, and give time for yourself to be in the presence of your guru mantra. A special healing mantra you're doing for somebody, the Mahamritryunjaya for a particular purpose, for a particular family member, yes, then honor that as well. You'll say, I don't have 5 hours. I don't live in an ashram all the time. Yes, be practical, but be ambitious, as Swami Veda would keep emphasizing. So work out the details. Guru's grace, Ganesha's blessings will be with us. I say us because we're all doing this practice together. And it is not just the residents by way of when I mean us. It is all of you, all of the guests that come, all of the students in all the regions of the globe, some in Asia, some in Europe or Africa, some in North or South America. Everyone is part of our Sangha family. So again, I would like to thank all of you for participating in our session, our opening session on our new Sangha mantra. We will come to the awareness of, again, that inner stillness, And through that stillness, that inner observation, and through that observation, that fine line, the thread of life and consciousness that is running through this personality that is given the name of who we identify with by name. Yet that name is simply a symbol of that one life force, that one consciousness force that sings through us as we breathe, that vibrates within us as the nada, the vibration of the life force in each heartbeat. So as together now with one voice, one intention, and thus that collective mind field, inviting the presence of the Guru. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. And may the blessings of the lineage the presence of our beloved Swami Veda passing on his next Sangha mantra through us all by way of the grace of Mother Divine. We invoke the presence of Ganesha.